Don't blink. It's your boy Ink. Welcome to our show. We hope to having a wonderful day on this glorious, and I do mean glorious, 5th of September 2025. As you can possibly guess by the intro and by the thumbnails and the title of this video, you see me looking here where to play the tower. I got a couple. I got 43 minutes to get to where I need to go. And I don't think it's possible, but I'm gonna try. So if by the title and the thumbnail, you know that we're gonna talking about Lord of the Ring, the trilogy. Now, when I say this, I have to be specific. Talk about Lord of the Ring. We're not talking about the Hobbits. We're not talking about the Silmarillion. We're not talking about the Unfinished Tale of Numenor. We're talking about Lord of the Ring. I'm excited. Let's get this started. I don't even have a drink. Should we get a drink? I think we can wait. So why is it so important to me for me to do this? Listen, I am a simple guy. I see edits on social media. I feel the need to watch. I see edits on social media. Again, I feel the need to watch. So we saw edits on both TikTok and on both YouTube of Lord of the Ring. Lord of the Ring is one of those things that it's there's a very rare category. To me, there's only a few items in that category. It's Trailer Park Boys, Candy vs. Penny, Pokemon Silver, and that's it. And that's it. Those are things that I've played or I've watched or I consume so much that I cannot consume. Lord of the Ring is part of that very specific cycle. So what happened is, I'll always remember, the very first series that I watched was Harry Potter. And as Harry Potter was coming out, my parents were very protective. So it wasn't necessarily a mentality or a culture of, oh well, you can't watch that, this is dangerous for you, you're too young to watch that. But it was something that they would watch and they say, hey, this is scary. So for example, the very first example of that was The Mummy. Mummy, I think it was the third movie, and that movie was really well made but kind of scary for a kid. Again, I was 10, 11 years old. The Two Tower movie came out, I was 12 years old, 13 years old maybe? I don't know. I have no clue. No, I was in 6th grade, so yeah. I was 12 years old. I was leaving grade school. So, and I used to watch them every single. So what happened is, my parents were like, hey, this is too scary, but they bought a DVD. And then when I reached the age of 16, like, you're old enough to watch this now. So I watched the 3 of them together. And my father was like, hey, chill. You've watched 3 of them. You watched 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights. And I was like, yeah, but I'm gonna be able to watch them how many time I want. And I did. I used to watch this movie every single year, 2 or 3 times a year. The 3 movies. Now, in my extreme wisdom, because you know that I got extreme wisdom, duh. I watched, and this is a true story, I watched the second movie way more than the other movie. The second one is my favorite. It is the halfway point. It is funny. It is witty. The third one is a 3-hour movie about the ending. The first one is a 3-hour movie about the beginning. The 3 hours of the Two Tower is, you don't need to be thinking about the ending. You don't need to be thinking about the intro. So it's super good. When I came to the apartment, my father was like, hey, you can have a DVD or a couple DVD, because I know that you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have the cable. So I only took 3 movies, and those 3 movies were what? Lord of the Ring 1, 2, 3. Right? My father was like, hey, me and my girlfriend, we like this movie. I was like, please, Dad. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And then he bought his own copies after, so kind of funny. So then what ended up happening with that is what ended up happening with that was, again, I'm sorry, I have to do this, and it's quite a lot. What ended up happening with Lord of the Ring was that not only was it a great movie, I should have bought Torn way before. Not buying Torn was the biggest mistake. I think this is what I missed. Because all of those times that I died, I could have survived. Oh well, c'est la vie, as they say. We'll be able to get 70. We got 40 minutes left. We'll get 35 because I gotta watch an ad before that. So long story short, what ended up happening is I went to the apartment, and I started watching it. And at first, it was a very cool story because I was like, you know what? I don't need to be watching this right now. There's other movie that I could watch. There's a ton of other movie I can watch. However, what ended up happening is, and this is super funny, I got really bored and I watched the movies. And the problem was, I got really bored in quick succession. I was playing a game called Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is the same as a tower. It's an idle game where there's no story. So I watched a movie, and I was like, okay, well, I'm bored again because there's no story. So what I started doing is I watched a featurette, and in the space of 4 or 5 days, I watched the entirety of Lord of the Ring, and it just became something that was so cool. And to this day, it's probably my favorite DVD. Fast forward years, and I'm no longer watching DVDs because we got the cable. Fast forward more years, and we're no longer watching TV because I got the Wi-Fi. And since I made content, I haven't really thought about Lord of the Ring. My last experience with Lord of the Ring was in 2018. I started work. One of the first audiobook that I listened to at work was Harry Potter. The second one that I listened to was the Tree book of Lord Tolkien. So again, super super important to me, but it wasn't a case of I'm in love with this. It's not a case of it's a case of a fan who really likes the movie and wants to pay homage to them by watching them. It's a case of a person that understands that these are something quite special. There's something quite special about those movies. You look at them today and they still age very nicely. The Tolkien was so ahead of his time. For example, talk about equality. When he had I don't remember her name, but the girl from Rowan, it was beautiful because she was a woman and she was told not to fight, and she was accompanied by Merry, and he was told he couldn't fight because he was a halfling. Those two together decided to fight, and they wanted to defend them. They wanted to fight. They wanted to protect the people that they loved. So they were offered a chance to fight with the people that they loved. And it's a question of equality. When all the hell fails, this is going to be important. And this movie was so cool. And the first movie, realizing that Boromir is so much better in the books. But then again, at the same time, except for the first movie, most books are including all of the important things. So the first movie, and it doesn't include the gift from Galadriel, and it doesn't involve Boromir true intention. Because Boromir is one of my favorite characters. But it's such a telling story. Such a telling story. She gives candies to the cats. And it's, to me, it was weird because those movie in itself, Lord of the Ring is one of those cases that you think that you're gonna be able to watch. We're watching the batteries so it doesn't die. It's pretty low. It is pretty low. What I'm gonna do? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. There you go. There you go. Don't drop this phone, please. Thank you. And then what you're gonna do is use this. So the same battery pack is powering now two phones. It's one of those weird cases of a movie that you think that you'll be able to watch it. Then you watch it so much that even though it's aged beautifully, you're not able to watch it anymore. Like, oh, I watched this already. I'll be honest, I watched a whole marathon, and it was long. It was amazing. I had some fun. So now this is the first part of what we're doing. By the way, there's gonna be two of these videos. The first video is gonna be this. The second video is gonna be what? The second video is gonna be super simple. Second video is the exact same thing. However, there is a featurette only. So bonus feature, etc. I don't need to tell you time and time again. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You see 40 and not a problem. I should have done torn damage before, dude. I'm a dumbass. I'm a freaking douche. It was a good experience. I mean, since making content, and at the same time, we just finished watching Prison Break. Prison Break, which was how many hours? It's 4 seasons of 22 episodes, uh, which is 20 minutes each, which is 11, which is 44 hours. I'm watching a movie that's 9 hours and I'm complaining, you know? It's an investment and it's such a journey. I don't remember the last time we did this. From beginning into an end, usually what I do is I would watch it one day, second one another day, the third one another day. But then, in the space of like 12 hours, we watched the 3 of them, which was really nice. The movie in itself, and it's such a testament to the past, you know? Testament to the past as something that still holds on. As a kid, like I said, I love listening or reading like Harry Potter. As an adult, I don't like Harry. I think he's a pompous little bitch. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. I love Harry and the first, the second, the third. The fourth one becomes too emotional. And I'm like, bro, chill. You're gonna be okay. Chill, okay? Chill, please. You're gonna be okay, Brody. Again, this is my opinion, so you can agree, you can disagree. Fine. But coming back with Lord of the Ring, a lot of people, what they were saying when I did my review of Prison Break was, they don't make show like that. They don't make movie like Lord of the Ring. They don't make movie like that anymore because a lot of the movie, they were willing to make some losses, financial loss, as long as they had the DVDs. Because the DVDs would come in and the DVDs would act as a kind of cushion. Oh, we lost a lot with them making the movie, yeah, but the DVD sells very well, so I don't mind. So we don't have that. And the featurette, the amount of featurette, there's possibly 5-6 hours of bonus feature there, you know, which makes a whole day of experience, a whole day, and that would have just been fun. It would have just been amazing, you know. And you see Tolkien, and Tolkien was one of the first greats. In my book, there's a couple of writers from the past that I really love. There's Tolkien, and there's H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft was a raging racist. So sadly, if I said that I like H.P. Lovecraft, I'm seen as this big racist. But Tolkien had a clear destiny. There was a whole trouble with his son, how his son got everything, and he didn't do anything with the books and the IP. But then he wanted to keep his father legacy. So I kind of understand that. There's nothing else like that. Now, here's the thing, right? Lord of the Ring is a great thing, but there's so much that's going on. For example, in Lord of the Ring, you got the Silmarillion, you got the Hobbits, you got the Tale of Numerian, which is like an 11 hours read. You got Shadow of War, you got Shadow of Mordor. So these two also are part of it. It makes a bigger universe than just Lord of the Ring. Lord of the Ring, however, it's a great thing because one of my favorite manga, and I'm gonna go far, but it's Berserk. What does that have to do with anything? Well, Berserk isn't finished. Berserk is dark, but they have this arc called the Golden Age, and if you only pay attention to the Golden Age, right, you get the best story ever. You get the best manga ever. But then there's everything else. Lord of the Ring is this whole entity, right? You don't need to know the story of Bilbo, right? You don't need to know the story of the first man, right? They came out with a movie not too long ago, which was a animated. It's not anime though. I think it's more cartoony. Called Battle of Rohirrim, which is the Battle of Rohan. But just that, then the king told them the Fellowship of the Ring. When the first movie, there's so much cringe-worthy, but it's feel good. The second is just a great adventure. The third one is, in my opinion, and I used to love the third one. In my opinion, the third one is the worst because you got all of these half truths. I don't see myself watching this movie in a theater because you have to wait 1 year. Now, the simple fact that they filmed everything, the whole story behind it, and they're gonna tell the story in the bonus feature, but I know it by heart. Peter Jackson, the guy who's behind King Kong, to name a few. He came up to multiple studio. There you go, we're gonna get 60, no problem with the... I should have done Torn before. Fuck. I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. But at least we're gonna get what I need to get, and tournament was for tomorrow, so that's not a problem. Right. We're getting a shit ton of more coins. So, long story short, because I'm taking my time, right? He came to all the studios, and they all said no. except for Lionsgate, who said yes, and came out the movie, the best movie in the world, and they filmed all three together. So if the first one was a flop, it would have they would film all three movies. Now, technically speaking, this is true but not true. You know that you have a success because Lord of the Ring was very popular. However, does people care? No. See, Lord of the Rings still have this very core audience. Very, very core. Now, I didn't even mention the Ring of Power. The Ring of Power is still very active nowadays. But the problem with the Ring of Power is I don't like to include it because it retcons a lot. For example, in the first movie, we see how Uruk-hais were born. And the Ring of Power, there's literally a family with a baby, with a baby orc. And we know that's not it. Something that I mentioned in the movie, racism, the constant war between the dwarf and the elves, but then the fact that both Gimli and Legolas become friends, it's kind of nice. It's a bit cringy, but it's kind of nice. The fact that Aragorn is this guy who's afraid of his future he's afraid of being the responsibility of being the king, and upon him this is important because it is a man that feels weak. It is a man. See, Aragorn is also a very important character in my book because he's a human being with a supernatural being. See, the hobbits have a reason to be weak, right? But then you look at the Fellowship. You had a wizard, you had elves, and you have a dwarf. Both super rare, super ancient race that have a rich history. You got Boromir, which is the son of the intendant of the throne of Gondor. You have the halfling. The halflings are okay to be weak because they're halfling. But apart from the halfling, the weakest member of that group is Aragorn. And the one that has the most responsibility and the planet and the story and the lore and the fate of the Middle Earth is Aragorn. You know? Injustice. For example, the fact that Boromir was a clearly favorite son. Faramir only wanted was the love from his father. He never got it. The fact that Frodo sees himself in Gollum, and if he can save Gollum, he can save himself. But if he cannot save Gollum, he cannot save himself. There's just so much here. It's just such a good trilogy, and it feels timeless. Like when I watch it, there's nothing. Like I want my kids to watch Kenny vs. Penny because it's a good life lesson. I wanted my kids to watch Lord of the Ring because it's possibly the best movie. But apart from that, anime is for sure. But anime isn't the same thing. There's nothing like Lord of the Ring, and it's such a beautiful story. It's such a beautiful book. The cultural impact that it has is mesmerizing, and I'm forever grateful for Tolkien for giving us this. Thank you. And we got Svinny. So we got the event unlocked. Nice. It wasn't normal. Fudge. I got it.